Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Ashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So today is a special class on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the occasion of Gaura Purnima. I had a verse, but I would probably skip that and we'll just straight go into something. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we call ourselves as Vaishnavas, and to be more specific or qualify ourselves more, we say Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So when we say ourselves as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, it's important to know what is the Gaudiya Vaishnavism philosophy is. And to understand the philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism or the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is ample information which is available, and the most authentic, relevant, and the most powerful one which Prabhupada has shared with us is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Of course, that's the biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Bhagavat. Chaitanya Bhagavat is written by Vrindavan Das Thakur, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is a magnum opus of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Prabhupada has given commentary to Chaitanya Charitamrita, which has got all the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Does anybody know what does Chaitanya Charitamrita means? Everybody see? Yeah. No, not yet. Okay. Okay, Jagannath. Either you know or you don't know. But there is something in between where we guess. This comes in the middle portion. Of course, you are right. The attempt is good. But if you read the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the beginning, the introduction, the first thing, Prabhupada actually talks about what is this meaning of the word Chaitanya. Anybody else wants to try? Yeah. Okay. None. No. Who else? No. Bhagavad-gita. Not looking at me. Chaitanya's past. Past time. Panduranga. Very interesting to know this because of the introduction of Chaitanya Charitamrita Prabhupada talks about this. You see, the word Chaitanya means, what is the meaning of Chaitanya? Consciousness, living force. Charita is character, and Amrita is immortality. So the translation of this is character of living force and immortality. Keep this in mind. It's a very important concept because this is what Chaitanya Charitamrita means. And Prabhupada actually explains this. What does this mean? Character of living force and immortality. We all talk about our own character. We all talk about our who's the life force. So those two things are making sense. But what is immortality? But anyway, we will come back to this. Character of living force and immortality. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching, or that is the book Chaitanya Charitamrita written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Now today's class, my attempt is just to share with you the important teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Interestingly, there's a software which I used. I loved it, and I just did there is an artificial intelligence. You can search, like, you just type something, Lord Chaitanya's teachings, and these 3 points which are coming, it came by auto suggestions, which are very nice. First thing that came was Lord Chaitanya's teachings emphasize the importance of detachment and self-realization in one's spiritual practice. So as I said, the first point that, Gaudiya Vaishnavism means it's all coming from the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So to understand the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada, like Krishna book, has given this book called The Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Very, very deep, actually, very profound, this book. So this, the session that we have today, or whatever I'm going to speak, is primarily from this book called The Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And such a wonderful book. My only prayer to all of you is to bless, because this teaching is not easy to understand. It's not as simple. So let's see what these teachings are and how important and relevant they are for us when we say we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas. We are Gaudiya Vaishnavas. First thing that it came was, as I said, in this software, Lord Chaitanya's teachings emphasize the importance of detachment and self-realization in one's spiritual practice. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. Actually, the mood and the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his life is an example of how to get detached from this material world and how to understand who we are. Self-realization. Lord Chaitanya's teachings emphasize the importance of chanting. No doubt, all of us, we know that. Our movement is called Hare Krishna movement. Lord Chaitanya's teachings emphasize the importance of love and devotion in one's spiritual practice. So there is an importance of Lord Chaitanya's, the importance of love, the love of Godhead, and devotion in one's spiritual practice. If we have to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, actually it can be understood by the conversation that he had with 5 people. These 5 people have got the key to the entire teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. First was 2 brothers, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Then there was the great Mayavada person, Mayavada scholar by name Prakasananda Saraswati, His Holiness Prakasananda Saraswati, who was the leader of Mayavada school of people in Banaras. And then there is Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, who's the priest. It is not visible. The next was Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, who was a priest, and the last one was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's conversation with Ramananda Rai. Ramananda Rai was the governor of a province. So there are 5 people, and these 5 people carry the entire essence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. two brothers, Rupa and Sanatana, the Mayavada sannyasi, Prakasananda Saraswati, the priest, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, and Ramananda Rai, the governor of a province in South India. Now, to start with, the way the order in which this Chaitanya, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya is given, it starts with the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami. Let's see what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught Rupa Goswami. As I said, we will cover this whole thing, so I want you to pay very utmost attention, because these are all very powerful things Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shared. This is what is our core Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, and we are trying to understand and practice that. We need to know this. So let's see the instruction which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given to Rupa Goswami. Interestingly, in the conversation, Rupa Goswami has not asked any questions. Whereas, in the conversation with Sanatan Goswami keeps on asking a lot of questions. Prabodhananda Saraswati asked one question. Prabodhananda Saraswati was in fact angry, indignant. He was not very happy with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the beginning. Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya asked one question, and after that he became silent. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he started explaining, he completely became silent. And Ramananda Rai, he says, you are only asking questions, and by your mercy and by your energy, I am able to answer. So you are making me ask questions, you are asking questions, and you are making me answer. Very interesting. Let's start with Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami was not asking any questions. But the conversation that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had with Rupa Goswami can be summarized in this. The first thing, let's see, what is the Pranam mantra of Rupa Goswami? Very interestingly, if you know this, I'm sure we all have heard. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Dadati Swapadantika. This is the introduction of Bhagavad Gita also, the prayer of Rupa Goswami is there. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. Rupa Goswami is such a special Acharya. We proudly call ourselves as Rupanugas. So it is important to know what is the Pranam mantra of Rupa Goswami. The very special thing which is mentioned in his prayer is he could understand the mind of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. And to establish that, what is there in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind, he has written wonderful literature. Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. When that Rupa Goswami will give me shelter at his lotus feet. There is another verse, Adadanas Trinam Danter Idam Yache Punah Punah Srimad Rupa Padam Bhojo Dhuli Syam Janma Janmani. Adadanas Trinam Danter Idam Yache Punah Punah. Putting a straw within the teeth, one is constantly, repeatedly asking for the mercy of Rupa Goswami. Taking a straw between my teeth, I humbly pray again and again that I may become a speck of dust at Sri Rupa Goswami's lotus feet. Birth after birth. Adadanas Trinam Danter Idam Yache Punah Punah Srimad Rupa Padam Bhojo Dhuli Syam Janma Janmani. The same Rupa Goswami whom we are glorifying, in his own words, when he says something which is there in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is very interesting to know. Hridiyasya Preranaya Pravartito Aham Varaka Rupo Tasya Hare Padakamalam Vande Chaitanya Devasya. Hridiyasya Preranaya. Actually, whatever I have written, whatever I have tried to explain, that prerana, the inspiration for that in my heart came from the Lord. Hridi yasya preranaya pravartito aham varaka rupa. Rupa Goswami's name is Rupa Goswami. Of course, what was his name when he was serving the Muslim king? Kaji? Dabir Khas. So Dabir Khas was his changed name, Muslim name, but he was a Saraswat Brahmana from Karnataka, and they had migrated. And because he was serving the Muslim king, his name was also changed. But here he's telling Aham Varaka Rupa. Rupa Goswami's signature you can find in his compositions, Padyavali and other places, where he writes his name in the middle. Of course, it has another meaning also. He's telling Hridi Yasya Preranaya Pravartito Aham Varaka Rupa. Varaka Rupa, Varaka, the word Varaka means I'm lowly, very insignificant. I had no qualification. But that prerana, that inspiration came from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from my heart. Yadi yasya preranaya pravartito aham paraka rupopi tasya hare padakamalam vande Chaitanya devasya. Although I am the lowest of men and have no knowledge, the inspiration to write transcendental literature about devotional service has been mercifully bestowed upon me. Therefore, I am offering my obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the pranayama mantra of Chaitanya of Rupa Goswami. And the question comes: what is the first thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke to Rupa Goswami? So if you see this, if you just go by this sequence, I just made it in this way because it's very easy to remember when you see this. The first thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks about to Rupa Goswami is the size of the soul. What is the size of the soul, Jagannath Tirtha? 1,000. 1,000? Hair. 10,000. 10,000 or 1 lakh? 10,000. Pakka. Balagra satabhagasya satadha kalpitasya. You take the hair, one hair, whatever that size is, you are able to. And I saw today there was some hair here in the morning. Then divide it into 100 parts. Then take one part, that divide it further 100 parts. That is the size of the soul. How many of us can see it in our naked eyes? Nobody. So first thing which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks to Rupa Goswami is, who are we? What is our identity? And when we see in front of the mirror, okay, I'm growing, becoming big, this is me. But actually, the real identity of each one of us is the spirit soul, and the size of that is 1/10,000, the part of the tip of the hair. Now, a question may come that I'm not able to see the spirit soul. How do I understand that the spirit soul exists? There are brilliant explanations, because this is our core of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, or any Vaishnava philosophy, or any philosophy for that matter. It begins with the difference between spirit and matter. I want to give few examples which Prabhupada has given, and very powerful these ones, to understand the existence of the soul. The first thing that Prabhupada I would like to mention is about a lecture which is given at Canada by Prabhupada in a school where it's a recorded lecture, you can see it in the Veda Ves, it is there, where Prabhupada is asking some of the students in the school, can you point out your hand? This is my hand. Can you point out your shirt? Can you point out your nose? My nose. Can you point out your chest? They're pointing out. Then Prabhupada asks, can you point out your soul? And they're looking at each other. Can you point out who you are? Nobody knows. How do I point out something which is me? I can say this is my hand, this is my body, this is my nose, my dress, my shirt, pant, all these things. I can't point out my soul, because it is not my soul, it is me. This is the first thing which Prabhupada says. And of course, the very famous opening statement of Prabhupada at MIT, when he had visited, what is the difference between a living man and a dead person? So he says that you have so many departments here, Department of Science, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Metallurgy, and so many things. Where is the department to understand the science of soul? Elsewhere, Prabhupada says actually it is difficult subject matter. So people usually keep it aside. Let's talk about something else. Going to moon, talking about some, what is that you found, Madhav, that oldest Otzi. Let's talk about Otzi. Let's talk about 5G, 6G. Who wants to talk about the soul? Actually, our acharyas feel very frustrated that we can't go beyond the first unit test. That we are not this body, we are not able to understand. It's a very frustrating experience. That's the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. If you don't know where in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned. First thing, 2.13. What is the verse? 2.13. Dehinosmin yathade. Komaram yauvanam jara. So Dehi, the word used is Dehi. And where is that Dehi? Asmin Dehe. It is residing inside the body. So there is something called Dehi, which is residing Asmin Dehe. It is like a tenant in the house or a driver in the car. They're not the same. The house is not the same as the tenant. The car is not the same as the driver. Like that, there is Dehi, Dehinosmin Yatha Dehe Komaram Yovanam Jara. First word that Krishna uses in Bhagavad Gita. If you see further in second chapter, there is another verse which comes. Antavanta ime deha nityasyokta saririna. Anasina aprameyasya tasmad yuddhasva bharat. The word used here is saririna. Antavanta ime deha. This deha is going to be antavanta. It will be finished. Nityasyokta saririna. These are all quotation by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while he is instructing to Rupa Goswami. Not that. Saririna. The word is saririna. The embodied souls. That is spirit soul. So there is sarira, there is saririna. There is deha, there is dehi. So, but still somebody may question, how do I believe? I don't know what to do. How do I understand something which I can't see? I'm not able to see. How do I believe? It's a very powerful argument which Prabhupada gives, if you can remember this. A body that has no soul has no importance. Now imagine there is a rock star, there is a superstar, there is a sports star, there is a prime minister, there is a president, very, very important person, but dead. And he's lying there. Now, will the worm is the worm going to discriminate that this is superstar's body, rock star's body? Let me not go. Let me not eat. It's a prime minister's body. Let me maintain some distance, give some respect. No, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how big a person you are. A body, if it doesn't have soul, it's useless. It's a very powerful argument. So you may say, no, I don't care. How, presence of the soul, I'm not able to see. Not able to see, you're dead. Our soul is not there. Anyway, you're not able to see. But the worms come and eat you. There is no discrimination. And very interestingly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because these are all very important things, I'm just going to give you some summary. You can memorize as much as you can. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that there are two kinds of living entities in this material world, or in this, not material world, in this world. One is Nitya Siddha, who are eternally liberated, Mukta people. They're all there in the Vaikuntha Loka. And there are all of us who are called the Nitya Vaddha, who are eternally conditioned. Mind you, the word is Nitya Baddha, eternally conditioned, not eternally condemned. We're not eternally condemned to live and rot here in this material world. We're conditioned. And that conditioning can be changed. The process of bhakti, as explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is a process by which a Nitya Baddha can become Nitya Siddha. Eternally conditioned means we don't know since when we are here in this material world. Anadi karama phale, divanisi hyajvale. Anadi karama phale, come from since when we are here with no idea. We are here, stuck. Nitya Baddha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes further about the Nitya Baddha. Who are these Nitya Baddhas? So he says there are 8,400,000 species of this Nitya Baddhas. 84 lakhs of species. Species means different kinds of bodies which are available. But unfortunately, none can understand the existence of soul except for human beings. And mind you, the percentage of human beings out of this 84 lakhs is very, very low. It's 1 by 21, 4 lakh species. That is the percentage, less than 5%. 1 by 21, 4 lakhs out of 84 lakh species are human beings, and we fall in that category of human beings. We've got this human body. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that this 84 lakh species can also be classified as Sthavara and Jangama. Sthavara means who's stationary, like the trees. Jangama, who can move. Who are the ones who can move? There are birds who can fly in the sky. There are aquatics which can go in the water, and there are people who can walk on the land, not just people, whoever. So there is something which can go in the air, which can fly, or which can go in the water, or which can walk or traverse on the land. And in that Jangama, where all of us we fall, we are the human beings, our percentage is very less. When there was a plague in Gujarat, nobody is from Gujarat. When was it? Somewhere around 2000 or 2001. There was an article which had come, if I remember correctly. The population of rats were at least 200 times more than human beings. Not just particularly in Surat, in general. There are so many rats. No wonder, we have some disturbance with the rats in our temple also. So the population of rats and other, some ants and things like that, they are huge in number. Compared to them, human beings are very, very less. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, that amongst the human beings, civilized human beings, which are called the Aryans, the Germans used to take pride in their supremacy. We are Aryans. The civilized human beings are even lesser. You may be born as a human being, but you may be an aborigine, you may be, somewhere, something is going on. But the civilized human beings, Aryans, mind you, what is the meaning of the word Aryan? It is not like racial supremacy or something. What is the meaning of Aryan? Where is it mentioned in Bhagavad Gita? When Krishna begins to speak in second chapter, he chastises Arjuna. Anarya yushtam asvargyam, akirti karam Arjuna. Anarya, you are talking like a person who's not concerned, who's not serious about the spiritual realization. So Aryans are those who have some understanding, who are little serious about understanding things which is beyond this material purview. So those percentage is very less. So first of all, imagine the Sthavara, Jangama, 84 lakh species, human beings are less, and less in that less percentage of human beings, Aryans are even lesser. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, amongst those Aryans, most of the people are karma sakta. Karma sakta means they're attached to their fruitive activity. I want to enjoy. I want to do this action. Why I want to do this action? Because I want to enjoy. If I do this action, whatever results I'll get, with that I'll enjoy. That's karma sakta, which is normal because we are all influenced by the three modes of material nature. It is acting, it is making us believe we can enjoy in this material world. Yes, it is in your reach. And there are so many books, advertisements, propaganda. You can do this, you'll be happy. You can do this, you'll do some, you'll go to somewhere. People believe in that and they work. Karma sakta. Then comes the category where somebody becomes a little more advanced and he feels that I should not get attached to these results. These are all horrible things. The more I work, the more I am trying to enjoy, the more it is a painful thing for me. They are called the Jnanis. Now understand this, Jnanis, though they are elevated, their position very nicely, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains this. I'm putting it in my own words. Imagine if you have gone to a party yesterday, no, not yesterday, day before yesterday. Somebody had invited you somewhere, you went and you ate a lot. So you ate puris, chapatis, sabjis, paneer, chole, pizza, desserts, everything you ate. You ate so much that you came back. After that, you had vomiting, you had diarrhea, you had dysentery, insomnia, felt so sick after that. Next day, again, somebody has invited. Again, you went there. Again, there are same varieties of items. Puris, chapatis, chole, paneer, pizzas. You ate, and then you came back. Again, you had vomiting. You had again diarrhea. Again, you had insomnia. You could not sleep. The third day, if somebody comes and gives you rasgullas and gulab jamun, already she is making this. Right? Hey, Baba, gulab jamun, rasgulla. It's not some poison I'm giving. No. I don't want. These are Jnanis. Jnanis have understood that this material world is such a problematic place. Better not to get attached. Oh, no more. My God. Thank you. Don't ask me anymore. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Koti Jnani Madhye Eka Mukta. There will be one person who is truly liberated. Mukta. And who's that? Koti Jnani Madhya Eka Mukta. Amongst Koti Jnani, so many, 1 crore Jnanis will find one Mukta who genuinely, who's aware, he's equipoised, he's liberated, he's seeing these are all temporary, this happiness, distresses, these are all temporary. He's Mukta. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, millions of Mukta, there is one Bhakta, Durlabha Eka Krishna Bhakta. And how rare it is to find someone who has understood Krishna consciousness properly. In India, so many people, Hare Thakur ji to mere ghar mein hai, main bhi Krishna ka bhakt hu, wo bhakt nahi hai. This Bhakta who understands Krishna consciousness in truth. That is why, evam yo vetti tattvataha. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha. That tattvataha is very, very rare. And that rare person is millions of Mukta, Durlava Eka Krishna Bhakta. It's just a way how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu builds and brings one to this understanding of how rare it is to find a Krishna. How it is such a great fortune to be engaged in bhakti to the Supreme Lord Krishna. No wonder that's why Bhagavatam says, when it answers the first questions by the 6 sages, 1.2.6. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti rathokshate ahetuki apratihata yenatma suprasida. Yato bhakti radhokshaja, to come to that stage of understanding or to be engaged in bhakti of adhokshaja is the highest perfection and the highest religion, because and if you do this, ahetuki and apratihata way, yenatma suprasida, it actually satisfies. This is the first thing which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks to Rupa Goswami. What else Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says? Very interestingly, if you see the instruction which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives to Rupa Goswami, the next thing that he says is, next thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says is, bhakti is exactly like getting a bija or a seed. So this bhakti that we get, it's a seed, it's a bija. And this has to be shown in the region of the heart. It has to be shown in the region of the heart. Heart is like a garden where you have to show this bhakti. Okay, I got the bhakti. How do I get the bhakti? I get the bhakti from Guru Krishna Prasadapai Bhakti Lata Beej. That bija, that seed has been shown in the heart. Then what happens? Then the very most, the crucial, the critical part of the reaching to the perfection is Shravana Kirtana Karai Sechana, regular hearing and Kirtana. When a seed is put in the soil and you just leave it as it is, the seed is there, land is fertile, I left it. The tree will grow, one day it will give fruits, I'll pluck the fruits and I'll eat it. Does it happen like that? No, you have to regularly water it. And the process of watering is Shravana Kirtana Karai Sechana. It has to be done continuously, regularly. You don't do that Shravana and Kirtana, that bija dies. You do it once in a day, once in a week, once in a month, once in a year. What is the probability of that seed fructifying? Yes. Sometimes, I don't know where it's, but I've seen somewhere, this one of these life insurance policies, they say, you just pay once, you're done. Just pay one premium. Okay, you don't have to worry about. We fall for all those kind of things. Right? We give one premium and life will be set. Really, life will be set. Even if life will be set, you will only get the money when you die, and that money also will not come to you. It will go to your relatives, right? Regular hearing and kirtan is very important. Shravana Kirtana. Sechana is to sprinkle water or to water that. Without that, the seed will not fructify. Okay, what happens if the seed fructifies? Then it grows and grows and it cracks the crust of this universe, crosses Viraja river, and reaches the abode of Krishna and takes shelter of lotus feet of Krishna. So when it takes the shelter of lotus feet of Krishna, then the kripa, there are fruits which grow, and that fruit is Krishna Prema. And it keeps growing, it keeps producing fruits after fruits after fruits. So you keep enjoying this Krishna Prema. So simple it is. So it grows and then things are done and it takes the shelter of lotus feet of Krishna. But there is a but which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, and that but is a very important thing. What is that but? Had it been so easy, हो गया बस भक्ति लता बीज मिला पानी डाला हो गया पहुंच गया बस कृष्णा प्रेम में खाऊंगा बैठ के नहीं. But is there are weeds which start growing. When you are doing that watering process, when you are putting water, when the Bhakti Lata beej is sprouting, along with that it is surrounded by weeds. So what to do then? What are these weeds? Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very nicely explains this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, sometimes we give up our material position, material thing, and we come to this society of Vaishnavas, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We come here to practice bhakti, but again, those weeds, when they start growing, we hanker. There are desires which grow inside our heart for adoration, name, fame, profit. Me, I've done this. So our scriptures are telling, no, Krishna is seeing whatever service you are doing. Don't worry about it. Krishna is seeing. Doesn't matter. Krishna is seeing. I want others also to see. They also should recognize and acknowledge. This is called a perverted reflection of our desire for acceptance. Acceptance by people around me. They should also value me. So big devotee. Very nice. You have done. Very good. So this desires for adoration, name, fame, and profit grows. We forget that, at one point in time, we've given up so many material things. We've kept them aside and we've come here, but yet they grow. That is why these are called weeds. In my village, I've seen when this rice paddies, they grow. So if you see those rice paddies, when they grow, along with those, there'll be weeds. And usually the weeds will be faster. Their growth will be bigger. They'll be more than the rice paddy. Right? So this weeds start growing faster and faster. So then one may say, okay, if it is growing, no problem, I'll chant more and it will go. No, it doesn't go. If it has to go, one has to uproot them. And it is a painful process. I'm a senior devotee, temple president, so and so, this thing, but this anarthas are there, these weeds are growing. Who has to do that? I only have to uproot them. How is it? Is it nice? No, it is painful. But we need to do this. There's a sentence which is there in this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction to Rupa Goswami, very powerful thing. If somebody asks, what is false ego? I can't see it. I don't know where is false ego. I think my false ego is gone. I'm now a devotee. I'm fully some humble servant, this thing, that thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, if there is an attachment for taking credit for doing anything, if there is an attachment for taking credit for doing anything, that means our false ego is alive, well, and kicking. A little bit, I did this, mujhe milna chahiye credit. So false ego is still there, strong, well and active. So this is what he says about the Bhakti Lata beej and how we should be careful in removing the beads. Next, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what does he say? Then he says about there are 3 stages of bhakti. Very interesting. No. Only 3 stages of bhakti. First is the beginning stage when somebody comes to Krishna consciousness. Everybody looks good, great, wow, this is so nice. This whole process, because one gets relief from this material pangs, one gets that, immediately can perceive that. But as time progresses, there is a conversation by, there is a memory recall by Giriraj Swami where he says, when I came first time to ISKCON temple, I saw, it appeared that everybody is like a pure devotee. But then afterwards, what happened? Afterwards, what happened was I started seeing faults in everyone. So when I started seeing faults in everyone, then it looks, it's no good. Everything is bad. That is why time to time one needs to correct oneself. One needs to reform inside. Otherwise, this mentality of fly is very easy to come. It is deep there. It is there within us. So that fly mentality makes us, forget the taste in Krishna consciousness. So there is a beginning stage. Then there is a realization of service. The second stage is the realization of service, where we realize that our existence is for service. We are existing here. The whole goal of life is to serve the Lord. And much later comes the love of God. Actually, we don't even deserve to ask for love of God. It is bestowed. It is bestowed based on our attitude, based on our service, based on how we are engaging ourselves. This is given to us. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sums up his teachings with Rupa Goswami by talking about the science of 5 rasas. I heard this from one devotee where he is explaining this 5 rasas. Very beautiful explanation. Imagine a man, the prime bread earner of a house, is sick and he is bedridden. So he is bedridden, he's lying in the bed, he's got some problems, and he's being served by his servant, by his wives, by his wife, one wife, by his parents, by so many people. So the person who's lying in the bed, he can use the bed to lift himself up, and he can read, he can do something. So the bed is serving him. He's lying on the bed, so bed is serving. But if the person says, "Thank you, bed, thank you for being such a nice servant," bed is not going to respond. That is a neutral rasa, where there is no reciprocation. There are devotees who are engaged in Vaikuntha Loka in neutral rasa, Santa rasa. Higher than that is Dasya rasa, where a servant is also coming and he's also massaging the feet of the master. But he is doing it out of some feelings which is not really so intimate. That is Dasya rasa. Sakha, a friend comes, he'll be more concerned and he'll be massaging the feet of the master, or he'll be doing something in more intimate way. Parents, when they come, they have a heart for child. They want to see if everything is fine. Wife, when she comes, it's even more intimate. So like that, there are this 5 different rasas, the science of rasas. Yesterday, Badrinath Prabhu was telling Krishna is a raso vai saha. He's the reservoir of rasas. He talks about the science of rasa. So like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives all this instruction to Rupa Goswami, and Rupa Goswami puts all this information in a condensed way, whatever he received. Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale, in the form of literatures. Wonderful literatures. How many of you have read Nectar of Devotion? You have read? Or you've seen? You've read? Okay. Okay. Who else has read? You read? देखा है? किधर से गया? Where did you see it? Amala Bhakta. Nectar of Devotion also is. There's a recording. Anyway, the point I'm asking, I'm not asking questions from Nectar of Devotion, don't worry. But Nectar of Devotion, written by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami took 17 years to write that. Nana Sastra Vicharanai Kanipuno. Who has written this? Rupa Goswami. Who's Rupa Goswami? Nana Sastra Vicharanai Kanipuno. They are experts in having gone through all these Vedic literatures which were available, and they have put this conclusion in this literature, like Nectar of Devotion. So you may say, how do I know? You just read Nectar of Devotion. It says, references like Narasimha Purana. It says some references like Brahmana Purana. It references from here, and the quotations like quotations after quotations, because they've done that analysis. They've understood what is it, and they have explained it in a lucid manner where we can get this, where we can get the benefit. It's like my father who used to be a big fan of this World Cup football, World Cup soccer. So there is a cousin of mine with whom there'll be always this animated discussions. I also will be part of that. In 1956, actually, Brazil won the first 3 World Cups. Right? Now, the first 2 was won by Uruguay. I still remember. The next 3 were won. It was won by Brazil. So the discussion will be, Garincha in 1966, he was not playing well, but in 1970 he was very good. he picked up. And Pele was at his peak. So as if Garincha and Pele were there in our house and they were playing in front of us, we know Garincha. Like that, the conversation. And then 1974, Mario Kempis came, and 1978, Mario Kempis, so Argentina won. 1974, it was Germany. What is his name? I forgot now. Hey, this conversation will be like this. So, like that, this is Rupa Goswami is telling, Narasimha Purana is talking about this, Brahmana Purana is this. There's a quotation after quotation, and they have given the conclusion. Nana Sastra Vicharane Kanipuno, Sadharma Sansthapato. As the first conversation which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had with Rupa Goswami. Next comes the Sanatana Goswami conversation. As I said, Sanatana Goswami asks a lot of questions. Okay, very interestingly, Sanatana Goswami's conversation, it's actually a thriller in the way it is given in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is given also in teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Sanatana Goswami is the elder brother of Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami left and he joined the army of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sanatana Goswami was stuck. So Sanatana Goswami could not come, and but he also developed kind of a distaste to go and serve that Muslim king. So he stopped going, and he was absorbed in talking about Srimad Bhagavatam with other Vaishnavas. And this was seen by one of the ministers of Chandka, who's that? Nawab Hussain Shah. So he saw that, and he reported this to Hussain Shah. Hussain Shah was very angry at Sanatana Goswami. How can you do this? You are saying you are not interested, and you are saying you are not well, and you are happily giving discourses on Bhagavatam here. What's going on? So he said, no, I'm no more interested. He actually was very humble to Hussain Shah. You are in a very superior position. I have got my respect for you. I've served you. You've given me my food and all those things. Thank you for that. But I can't do this anymore. So when Nawab Hussain Shah heard that, he immediately put him in arrest. He was under house arrest. He was put behind the bars. So now what to do? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already met Rupa and Sanatan at Ram Kelly, and Sanatan Goswami wanted to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he was behind the bars. He gave money to that the jail attendant. What do you call that? Jailkeeper. He gave him some bribe. Take this money, release me. Tell your boss, tell your master that I was going to Ganges to finish my daily the morning ritual, like finishing my ablution, and he got drowned. Said no, I can't do this. Said okay, take more money. No, this is not fair. I'll not do. Take more money. Okay, I'll consider. So there's a price for everything. So he gave more money. Said you just take whatever it is. It's a good thing that you're releasing one man to go to his mission. It's like it is mentioned in Makkah, and also he somehow released him. So Sanatana Goswami, because all this money was given by Rupa Goswami, very intelligent person. He had kept some money for this emergency, and Sanatana Goswami left from there. He went with one servant, by name Ishan, and they went and they found a place to take some shelter. It's an inn, like a dharmashala. They stayed there in the night, and the owner of that dharmashala, the inn, had an astrologer. And how powerful that astrologer was, he knew how much of money this person has. So he is actually a thug. He robs people with the help of this astrologer. Anybody who stays there, they get to know how much of money they have by the signs of how powerful that astrologer is. Right? Use that and you get to know. That's all. So, and he was extremely cordial to Sanatana Goswami. Wow, Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami is not some ordinary fool like us. We would have been fooled. Prabhupada says in the purport, in the commentary, if you read, Prabhupada says, Ati Bhakti Chorara Lakshan. If somebody is extra this thing to you, servile and coming, oh, you are so nice, Prabhu. Mind you, there is some interest behind that. It's not simply somebody is doing. So Sanatana Goswami asked Ishan, do you have anything? He said, actually, I'm carrying 7 gold coins. So immediately Sanatana Goswami goes and gives it to him, saying that, you take this 7 gold coins. So he said, you are really a Mahatma. Actually, we were planning to kill you in the night. And my astrologer had told that, you have 8 gold coins and we wanted to take that. So it doesn't matter, you take it. But he also said, no, I changed my mind because you are a sant, you are a Mahatma. So I thought I'll not rob you. So it doesn't matter. If you don't do, somebody else will do, you take this. He gave it to him, and the next day morning, they were about to leave. Suddenly, Ishan shows, I've got one more. Actually, I'm a smart fellow. I gave him 7. Actually, I had 8. Sanatan Goswami says, you take this and go back home. Don't need to come. Why? You don't have faith in Krishna. You have faith that something happens, then this gold coin will come to my rescue. So Ishan goes, and then Sanatan Goswami walks in the forest and goes, and his brother-in-law is there. There is a house. His name is Shrikant. And then he gives him a nice quilt. Then Sanatan Goswami carries that and goes and goes and goes and finds out where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Banaras. And he goes there to the house of Chandrasekhar Acharya. So when he reaches there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling his associates, go and fetch, there is a Mahatma who has come. So somebody went out and saw, where is the Mahatma? There is no Mahatma. He goes back, no, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is nobody, no Mahatma. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, there is a pure devotee of the Lord who has come. Please fetch him. He goes again and he looks and he says, there is no Mahatma, no pure devotee, nobody is there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, is there anybody who is standing there? Bring him in. So it was Sanatan Goswami who comes with hairs disheveled, with clothes torn, and a lot of long beard. He comes inside, and when he comes inside, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraces him, and there is tears flowing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Akshno Phalam. Actually, my eyes, this is the perfection of my eyes. This is the blessing, benediction of my eyes, that I'm able to see a pure devotee like you. Akshno Phalam. And he says that, you are saved from Rauravam or Maharauravam. Rauravam is a hellish hell. You are, whatever you are doing in the material world, you are serving that Muslim king. It was Maharauravam, and you've now been saved. They have embraced each other. Others are looking at, what's going on. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is embracing one. He looks like a Muslim fakir. That's what is mentioned. And he's embracing, and tears are just gushing. But while all this is going on, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is looking at that quilt which Sanatan Goswami is having, that he got it from Rudra, his brother-in-law's house, and that is a new one. So he's looking, and Sanatana Goswami noticed that. Immediately after that, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's embrace, Sanatana Goswami goes and finds that there was a beggar who was there, and he was washing his old torn quilt. Sanatana Goswami says, "Can we exchange?" Are you joking? What do you mean by can you exchange? It's a new quilt that you have, and you are trying to take this against my torn quilt. They said, "Yes, I want that." And he takes that and comes back, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, seeing that, becomes very happy, saying that your last snare of attachment is also gone. Then what happens? Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs to Sanatana Goswami. What does he instruct? The first thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Sanatana Goswami that he asked, because I said Sanatana Goswami was asking a lot of questions. First thing that Sanatana Goswami is asking to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who am I? Who am I? Why these threefold miseries are tormenting me? Ke ame? Kene amai jarai tapot troy. Who am I, and why these threefold miseries are tormenting me? Actually, these questions by Sanatana Goswami are very powerful, very, very powerful. Because Sanatana Goswami is an instrument who's asking these questions on our behalf. We should ask these questions. Sanatana Goswami is asking, who am I, and why these threefold miseries are tormenting me? Mind you, if you see Bhagavad Gita, actually there is one very powerful thing which Prabhupada mentions in the purport in this teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Sanatana Goswami's questions begins after Bhagavad Gita's instruction is given. How do you know that? Well, in Bhagavad Gita, towards the end, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it has become so small. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the end, Krishna says to Arjuna, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraj. Aham tvam sarva papebhya mokshayasami ma sucha. So here, Sanatana Goswami has given up everything. He has given up, he has come, he is surrendering. Still he is asking, who am I? Why these threefold miseries are tormenting me? What am I supposed to do now? So this is why Prabhupada is writing. This starts where Bhagavad Gita stops. Sarva dharman parityaja I have done. Is that now after that, it is all liberation? Santi, santi, santi? No, there is work. And that is why this work, this question by Sanatana Goswami is very important. Who am I? This question is, such a profound question, and we don't really understand. We saw that in Rupa Goswami's thing when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing. Very powerful to know who am I and what am I supposed to do. And that is answered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'll just come to that, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's answer is. But imagine somebody says, well, I don't need to surrender to Krishna. I don't need to. I'm very powerful, independent person. I've got a lot of money. I've got my power position in this material world. Why should I serve? Why should I surrender to Krishna? Very interesting thing. These are all philosophical conclusions and truths given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very powerful points to ponder about. Imagine somebody who says that I'm flying in jets, I'm going, I've got a nice house, anything that I want, everything is available in my fingertips. Why do I need to surrender to Krishna and all? Acha, you're good, you're very nice, you're doing all these things. Are you free from all this three tapa? You may be flying in all those things, you may be doing all those kind of things, whatever you're enjoying, your so-called enjoyment, but are you free from this threefold miseries? Are you free from adhyatmic, adidevik, and adibhautik kleshas? It doesn't matter, whether you are traveling in this or doing this or enjoying or you've got this position, you're not free. You're not exempt from that. Actually, you are serving Maya. So a person says, these are all new terminology you're coming up with and saying, I'm serving Maya. Where is Maya? Have you seen Maya? I have not. No Maya. Cha, you're not serving Maya? Well, yesterday something happened and you were angry. Yes, I was angry. So what? So you are angry, that means you are slave of your anger. Well, I was not slave exactly. I mean, I just got angry. Why did you get angry? Because somebody, stepped on my toe. Oh, somebody stepped on your toe. Okay. And what did you do? I said, can't you see it's your whatever father's property or what? Stepping on my toe. I got angry. But could you control your emotions? You could not, because you are actually a servant of those. Could you control when there is a emotions for greed? No, you're not. Could you control when there is a propensity to become lusty? Are you able to control? So how can you say that you're not serving? Serving Maya means serving lust, anger, greed, and all those things. We are servant. Doesn't matter who you are. Big leaders have fallen to their anger, have become victim of lust, have fallen and become victim of greed. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's answer is very powerful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jivera Swarupai Krishnera Nityadas. Krishnera Tatastha Sakti Bheda Prakas. In 2 lines, it's smashed. Jivera Swarupai Krishnera Nityadas. Actually, our Swarupa, this is our constitutional position. This is what we are. Nityadas. There also we have problem actually. Das is servant. So you mean to say I am servant of Krishna? Yes, you are servant of Krishna. We are eternally servant of Krishna, not just servant. Nitya Das. Not just Nitya Das, Dasa, Dasanu Das. So how do I accept this? As far as you are saying, I'm serving Maya, I understand. I don't want to serve Maya. But serving Krishna and Jivera Swarubhai Krishna and Nitya Das, that is also very nicely explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, actually, this is our constitutional position. That means when we serve or when we act in this particular fashion, we will be experiencing that transcendental bliss. There is no happiness. It's like, suppose there is a man who is having some, again, dysentery, vomiting, and other things. And so somebody asks him, what are you doing? Oh, well, throughout the day I'm busy, I'm doing activities. What activities you are doing? Dysentery 10 times, vomiting 4 times. And today it is reduced. It has become 6 times dysentery, 4 times vomiting, but it is going on. These are the activities I'm doing. So are you enjoying? Yeah. It's very nice. Reducing. But are you doing something, activities? Yes, I'm doing activity. Actually, our activities in the material world are like that. When we actually engage in service of Krishna, that's our Swarupa. We can experience that transcendental bliss. Then, so you are serving Maya. very nicely, if you see, so I spoke about all this. Somebody may say, well, I don't see something wrong in this material world. Okay, you're saying I'm serving Maya, but I still like this place. It's a good place. I'm in Shrewsbury and I've got a nice house, Westboro, whatever. The house is not so bad. The world also looks good. But the second argument which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives here is we are like prisoners in a prison house. How? But I enjoy doing whatever I'm doing. I'm actually doing a research on clinical psychology. There is some bombastic word you can use. Where are you doing? Actually, I'm in a prison house. I'm a prisoner. Doesn't matter. Prison is a good place. It's a nice house, nice, strong, study. And I'm doing some research. And this research work, I can use it in another prison. But the question that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking, are you free? Freedom means the moment I want to go from this place I don't like, I can go. Can I go on my own? No. We don't have a choice. We are prisoners. We are controlled. We are put into this prison house. And we are serving anger, lust, and greed. Moment instead of serving this lust, anger, greed, and this material things, when we serve Krishna, because being servant is our constitutional position, Swarupa, we experience transcendental bliss. That is why the Back to Godhead magazine Prabhupada's punchline of the Godhead is light. Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Hoy Andhakar. Jaha Krishna Nahi Tar Maya Raj. Krishna Surya Sama. Wherever Krishna is present, Maya cannot be present. Okay, then what happens? Let's see what happens. So this is the first question which is asked. It's asked by Sanatana Goswami, and then further, the next thing that is asked is actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, this is continuation of the same theme. Jiva is like the sunshine, and Krishna is the sun. One may question in mind, then does Krishna also come under Maya? One question may come. Jiva is like sunshine and Krishna is like the sun. Does Krishna come under Maya? There are two things which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks. Actually, if you see this instructions of in the conversation which is happening between Narada Muni and Vedavyas, when he is able to see Maya and Krishna together, there is a word which is used there called Bilajyamanya. This is quoted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bilajyamanaya. The Maya Devi, who's tormenting us, who's giving us tritap, is ashamed to come before Krishna. She doesn't come. Bilajyamanaya. So the moment one becomes a servant of Krishna, slowly Maya touches, leaves us. But the more no, I don't want to go still, Maya. I want to be here. Maya will keep you under the grip. But otherwise, Maya doesn't come in front of Krishna. Bilajyamanaya. Second thing, does Krishna come under Maya? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives this example. When you look at the sun, you can see that sometimes the sun gets covered by cloud. But is the cloud really big enough to cover the sun? So what does sun cover? Who's covering whom? Cloud is temporarily covering sun. Cloud is not covering sun. Our vision of sun is being covered by cloud. Cloud cannot cover the sun. The size of sun is huge. Similarly, Krishna can never come under Maya. It's our misunderstanding of who Krishna is. Because it is covered by this Maya, it appears this is. Then the next thing that Sanatana Goswami is asking is why happiness, distress, hell and heaven hit me like this? So very interestingly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains this very graphic example. Imagine a person who's tied to a bamboo, okay, like this. And then this man is taken and he is made to dunk in a river or in a water body. So you're going and then water is going everywhere and then you're gone and then suddenly they lift you up. This is what actually it is mentioned, not just taking one prisoner. So you're anyway, hands and everything is tied. So you're gone then you feel a sigh of relief. That sigh of relief is called the happiness, which is one experiences in this material world, which comes between the two miseries. How many times did you take breath today morning? How many? Countless. Panduranga, can you get my charger? So, what did you feel when you took breath? Wow. How many of you felt? But ask that person who's being dunked in how he feels. Krishna, can you hear me online?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
I just got battery went off. So basically, that's what I was trying to say. Go back. So happiness is an episode between two miseries. I was giving the example of a computer game where the demons keep coming or the monsters keep coming. Doesn't matter who's the player. They keep coming. That's the way the game is designed. You cannot say that, well, in my game, now I have made some progress, they'll stop coming. No, it'll keep coming. So anyway, that part is explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The next thing that he's talking about, there are many famous stories that we speak or we hear are given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this conversation. One is the story of Sarvagya, the all-knowing person. So there is this man who didn't know that he has a treasure, and he goes to this Sarvagya, another astrologer who knows where the treasure is. He's saying, in your courtyard, there is this treasure, but you should not go in the southern direction, because the southern direction has got this wasps, right? They'll bite you. And if you go in the western direction, there is a yaksha, which will kill you. And in the northern side, there is a python, which will gulp you. So what are these wasps? These wasps are actually the rituals that one performs. By ritualistic things, one thinks like this one very big, strong ritual in amongst the Indians here, at least in the US also, and even general in India, is this Satyanarayan Puja. Or this another one, that Friday they do, what is that? Santosima? Friday Santosima. Thursday. Friday Santosima, Thursday. No, Sai is there. No, another thing. Lights. Lamp from rice flour or lamp lemon. These are all the wasps which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, rituals one does. So there's no meaning, and then so much of austerity, fast, full day, and then offer something to Santosima or somewhere, then eat that. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's highest gift, which is given in the form of this holy name of the Lord, it doesn't have, there is Tatra Pita Niyamita Smaranena Nakala. There is no rules and regulations. Anytime you can chant, anytime you can remember this. Yaksha, which is actually supposed to protect the treasure, also if somebody goes to take that, he'll kill him. And northern side is the python, which is become one with the Supreme Lord. It will gulp us. So this is the famous story which we keep talking about it. I'll go a little quickly. Then there are more esoteric topics which are discussed. How great Krishna is, the various forms of Krishna, the 6 kinds of incarnation. How many incarnations we hear? Dasavatar. Dasavatar. No. Srinivas? No. Dasavatar. Dasavatar is what we know. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying there are 6 kinds of incarnations. We heard that there, right? How many? Which are the incarnations? Satta. दोनों बैठे थे. Purusha Avatara, Yuga Avatara. Purusha Avatara are the 3 Purushas of Krishna. Who are the 3 Purushas? Jagannath Tirtha. 3 Purushas. Ram is Purusha. No. Yeah. Shiro? Sadananda Vishnu, Garbhodakashai Vishnu, and Kshirodakashai Vishnu, who are the reasons how this material world comes into existence. Karana is this causal ocean. From the force of Mahavishnu, this universes are coming out. He enters into that ocean, into that universe, becomes Garbhodakashai Vishnu. And again, from Garbhodakashai Vishnu's navel, Brahma comes and he does the secondary creation. Again, Garbhodakashai Vishnu enters into each of these atoms as Kshirodakashai Vishnu. Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastha. So the 3 Purushas. Then Yuga Avatara. Every Yuga there is incarnation. We were hearing yesterday. Sweta, Lohita, and Pita. Right. So then different Yugas have different incarnations. Then so there's Purusha Avatara, Yuga Avatara, Manvantara. Every Manvantara, where there is a change of Manu which happens, there is an incarnation which comes. There is Lila Avatara, where all this Rama, Nasimha, all these people come, where we say Dasavatara, they're part of the Lila Avatara, and they're eternally present, and they are unlimited, not just Dasavatara. Then there is Satyavesha, and which is the other one I'm missing? Gunavatara. Gunavatara is all this Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. So for creation, you need a person to take care of that passion, that is Brahma. For maintenance, it's Vishnu, and for annihilation, it is Shiva. Then there is Satyavesha Avatara, where the Lord empowers someone. Sakti Avesha, the Sakti enters in terms of 6 kinds of incarnations. Then Sanatana Goswami asks about this verse called Atmaram verse. That's how this conversation ends. He asks, I want to hear about Atmaram verse, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that. A very beautiful verse, and if you hear the explanation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in in this particular episode. You'll be just amazed. So the Atmaram verse, anybody knows? Who can say? What is that? Okay. Ahetukya pratyata yenatma supras. Mother? Atmaramascha munayo nirgrantha pivurukrame kurbanti ahetukim bhaktim itham bhuta guno hare. Beautiful verse, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives 61 explanations to this verse of Atmaram verse. And then he asked Sanatana Goswami, did you understand? And then no, before he asked, did you understand? He says, actually I have become mad after this. Then he asked Sanatana Goswami, did you understand? He said, I have also become mad. It's a madness verse. Actually, there is madness in material world where people become mad because they didn't get something or something is not going and they become mad. But if you want to experience a transcendental madness, then engage your intelligence, absorb that in Srimad Bhagavatam. It's an elevated state of madness, which was experienced by Sanatana Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Third, how many we finished? Just Rupa and Sanatan. They've already exceeded time. You want to continue? Mataji is saying no. Who else? Unfortunately, if that's what it is, then that's what it is. But yeah, there are more interesting things which happened when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Prakasananda Saraswati, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, and Ramananda Rai. They're just amazing. Ocean, actually. But I'll conclude with this one thing, which I had started with, that what is this character of living force in immortality? And the title that we have for today is the most munificent incarnation. Let's understand this. Mukund, you want to become immortal in this material world? No, just you. Okay, once you find the formula, maybe others can also become. So imagine they also are all immortal. Everyone. You'll become immortal. Okay. Okay. Actually, how many others want to become immortal in the material world? Okay. Good luck if you want to become immortal, because this material world is never free from this tritapa and the four miseries. So, assuming that there's a very recent news which I saw in one of the famous newspapers of UK, where it is mentioned that by 2075 one can reach, the human beings can live up to 100 years. And it is very interesting sometimes, when you see the comments which people put in those kind of news things. So one of the comments was, my mother recently passed away. She was only 93. But from 81 onwards, she was suffering a lot of pain. And it was very, had it been, had this, the invention, had it been done a little earlier, maybe she would have lived for a longer time, is what he's saying. But then somebody is commenting there, saying that, imagine the plight of your mother if she is living for 100 years. From 81 onwards, she's not able to do her things. Some straw has been put in her mouth, not able to eat anything, and then continue to live for 100 years like that. And then what happens? So nobody else is around. Everybody else, whoever is supposed to die with, who are her contemporaries, are gone. Now I've taken this treatment, something. Now I have to live 100 years. Why you want to live like that? Or the kind of promises that the so-called scientists make, that there is one similar thing. If you search, this is all there, that fund was insufficient. Otherwise, we would have gotten it. We would have reached there. Like that, we have been fooled many times that we can become immortal in this material world. But what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving, or what Chaitanya Charitamrita is promising, is a character of living force in immortality. There is a very beautiful line from there's a very beautiful line from a song. Yeah, the line is Enache Maya Nasivare Lagi. Eneha Ausodhi Maya Nasivare Lagi. Harina Mahamantra Lao Tume Lagi. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has brought this medicine, Maya Nasivare Lagi, to finish this Maya, to finish this business permanently. He has given this Harina Mahamantra Lao Tume Lagi. So if somebody takes up to this chanting of the names of the Lord, which is the most wonderful gift given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can come out of this cycle of birth and death, this perpetual conditioning in this material world. One day, when Prabhupada was going on a morning walk in India, there was a man who was fishing. Yeah, they do fishing. It's a fishing rod. He was collecting some fish. He was putting it in one place. Prabhupada was walking. So this man took one fish, fresh, and he's telling Prabhupada, "You want to take this fish?" Prabhupada looked at him, and the disciples were also looking at him, what Prabhupada is going to say. Prabhupada said, "You enjoy." So they were a little puzzled. Why did Prabhupada say like that? And then Prabhupada walks about 10 or 15 steps and then says, "Suffer and suffer." So like that, this Maya's allurements, there is some enjoyment, but that is 10th class enjoyment. Not even 3rd class, 10th class. But for that little enjoyment that one gets, it gets into that karma sakta and the bandhan and gets stuck in this material world and suffer. Krishna doesn't want this suffering. Neither we want this suffering. But the way this material world is designed, when you hanker for that material pleasure in this material world, you get stuck. Here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most munificent incarnation, comes and gives this method, this way by which a person can achieve that immortality, can go back from this place and remain blissfully with Krishna in his support. I'll stop here. Unfortunately, we could not complete, but just amazing instructions by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to these 5 people. And if you see this, that has all the Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. It has got everything. And if one understands that and works as per that, he can actually come out of this material world. Any comment or any questions? When it is this, they are manjaris. Yeah, they were serving, but still they were worshipping. If you go to Ramkeli, they had their own temples. They just think themselves to be very low. By circumstances, will of providence, and somehow this, like These things are enacted. They were put into that kind of a situation. But they never forgot to worship or to be engaged in devotional service. They were always doing it. In fact, Ganges flows close to Ramkeli, and they don't even go inside Ganges because they consider themselves to be so lowly. So they'll somehow get some water and sprinkle on them. But that's just their state of humility. And they maintain that throughout. Even after being accepted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanatana Goswami is considered to be the embodiment of humility. So that example which Vasudeva Prabhu gives, when he could have gone, in front of Singhadwar, but he takes a longer route because he thinks that it would have to spoil the Pandas offering. Yeah, when we think, oh yeah, I'm surrendered, we don't have surrendered fully. To whatever extent, actually, the moment we engage in devotional service, our process of going back has started already. But then, what exactly needs to be done and why it has to be done, he's asking that, and we should ask that. And that answer which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives, Divya Swarupa and Nitya Krishna, actually is very bang on. This is what it is. Otherwise, we are serving man. Any other questions? Who are the 5 people Bhagavatatva Prabhu? Ramananda? Rai? Jagan Prabhu? The 5th one. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Gaur Purnima Maha Mahotsav ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Thy God Premanand.